Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to Toe Tags Reviews. And today we got another episode of our EP special series coming to you guys. And today we're going to be checking out The Ocean is Fiction by Thus Far and The Raging River by Cult of Luna. So it's been a while since we've done an EP special, but we got two for you today. And to start, let's talk about The Raging River by Cult of Luna. This one came out earlier this year, I think in January.
Sounds right.
And Cult of Luna is a band I actually listened to quite a bit a long time ago when I was really first getting into metal, actually. I was getting into tons of different prog bands, and this is one of them. So this is the first time I've listened to them in like some years. But this EP I actually liked a lot. And it's interesting because the influence here, or at least the general vibe you get here, is very doom metal-esque.
Yeah.
But I really like the atmosphere they created with the EP. For myself, my favorite tracks are the last two, which are I Remember and Wave After Wave. One thing I was noticing throughout the entire EP is that there are just awesome guitar riffs and lines going through. Like in the bridge of I Remember, there's just this awesome sounding just guitar part going on, like to carry that bridge. And Wave After Wave's got this continuous sound going through it. It kind of sounds like a synth or something.
There's some synthy stuff happening, yeah.
And I love that. It just keeps going. And that song is like 12 minutes long too.
Yeah, the songs can be long. There's a song, like the first song is almost 9 minutes. The fourth song, I Remember, is a little over 8 minutes. And then the last song is over almost 12 and a half minutes. So there's definitely some longer songs. I enjoyed the EP as well, but I have issues with it because I feel like a lot of it, like track number 1, 2, 4, and 5 basically all sound like a continuation of the same song. It's broken up by track 3, which is kind of like a dream trance state kind of thing with a clean vocal. I think it's got a guest vocal on it too.
Seems like it does.
I don't think it's the actual singer, but, and you said doom metal, I agree with that point of view. But to me, it was almost like stoner metal almost. I felt like this is like very entrancing music, very relaxing music, the kind where you want to just veg while you're listening to it. Very dangerous to drive to because you want to just close your eyes and go to sleep. The guitars are very droned out, not a bad thing, but too much of that might be annoying for some people. One of my favorite things about this EP though was in track number 4, I Remember. For some reason, the drums on this sound have such a big sound to them. And it's not that they're loud, it's not that they're, I don't know what it is. I couldn't put my finger on it. They're more prominent. They have a commanding presence, I can put it that way, on that track. So that stood out to me. The rest of it though, kind of all falls into this like, this little pocket of, I can play it in the background and it'd be fine, but if I start trying to focus on it, I really have trouble finding things that I can pick out and enjoy about it. The vocals are kind of one-dimensional, very distressed vocal throughout the whole thing. Other than that one track, track number 3 with the cleans, it's a very different sounding song. But overall, it's an enjoyable EP. It's not bad, it's just like, it's just there in the background for me.
I felt that the harsh vocals actually matched the tone of the EP very well. I feel like, you know, you can do a bunch of different stuff with work, which, you know, would be good, but I do think kind of having this one thing going on works. And, you know, I understand, you know, it might be a little bit too samey, but when every time I put this album on, I listen to it, I can just kind of go with it. And I never really complained about it. I understood that a lot of the tracks do sound similar, and I feel like if this was an LP and it all kind of sounded like that, I feel like there'd be an issue. But the fact that this is practically half an album's worth of music, I think it's fine in that regard. So if this was to develop into an LP, I would hope for some things to switch stuff up. But as an EP, I think it works really well, and I found myself just kind of getting lost in the vibe every time I put it on.
Yeah, we can agree to disagree on that because I think this is almost in the LP territory as far as length. It's nearly 40 minutes long.
It is kind of long, that's true.
And I feel like the things they present on these songs are not bad, but when you present them for 8 minutes and then another 8 minutes and then 12 minutes, it's too long. It's like these songs could have been cut in half and it would have been much more forgivable to be samey throughout the album. But like I said, it was on the background, no problem. When I start to focus on it, issues.
Yeah,
But that's not bad.
Like I said, I really like the vibe of it, but I do feel that it does kind of blend a little bit, and sometimes you kind of find yourself, what song is this again? But it's still enjoyable nonetheless. So, what do you give The Raging River in terms of ratings?
Well, just to put this out there, if you guys don't know already, these are not eligible for toe tags. We don't give toe tags to EPs, but we're still going to score it out of 10. And I think I'm going to give this maybe a little bit of a low score. I'm going to give it a 4. It's just kind of, it's like a little less than middle of the pack for me. There just wasn't enough enjoyable on it for me to give it a higher score. So that's it. I don't really need to explain it anymore. It gets a 4.
All right, well, for me, I thought this EP was really good, but didn't really have the spark that could make it super great, so for me, it gets a 7.5.
Wow, that's a high score.
I thought it was good.
Cool.
I enjoyed it. So moving on to The Ocean is Fiction by Thus Far. Thus Far is a prog metal band from Los Angeles, California, who sent us some shirts to check out their stuff. So if you guys want to check out their stuff, do so and check out their shirts. But what were your thoughts on The Ocean is Fiction?
So when I first heard this EP, I kind of rolled my eyes a little bit, like, oh god, I gotta listen to this for a week. That attitude dropped very fast. This is just not my typical go-to style of metal, okay? This is why. So I got a little sour right at the beginning. But, like I said, that attitude dropped very fast because this is a good EP. There's a lot in this EP that I ended up really liking. Prog metal, yes. Very metalcore-esque. Certain songs like Daughter of Ash, oh boy, which is something you might hear like ABR or Unearth do, right? Mm-hmm. But in a slightly different style. It's the heaviest song on the album, but it doesn't mean it's the best song. Maybe for me it is because I like the heavier stuff. But the riffs are catchy. The way that the guitars play on this album is like a constant lead riff playing a double melody with the vocals, which is very cool because you got the vocals doing the one melody and the guitars doing another melody, and they're married with each other and making beautiful music. The progginess is cool, a little bit of time signature, things here and there. Nothing too fancy that was like driving me nuts or anything. Good stuff. The vocal diversity was also really cool. There's a range of clean vocals, there's a range of harsh vocals, there's good use of harmony, there's good use of vocal layering. One of the problems and one of the reasons I'm not fond of genres like this or similar sounding bands is pitchiness in the vocals. This album does not suffer from that, at least not to my ears. I felt like the pitch was nearly perfect in all the songs, and that was something that enabled me to listen to it and not cringe at it, which I do, unfortunately, with bands like this. So overall, I enjoyed listening to it through the week, I think.
Well, for me, as someone who is into prog, I thought this EP was great, and every time I listened to it, I just enjoyed it more and more and more. Daughter of Ash is totally awesome, one of my favorite tracks of the EP. One thing that's cool about it is how out of nowhere that breakdown is. It just kind of just shows up at your doorstep, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess it's here now.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing at all. I think the pacing of the song really makes it unpredictable in that sense, like, oh wow, there's this too. There's a laugh that he does in his harsh vocal voice, and I love it because of how long he goes for and the gravel that's in his voice by the end of that laugh. And another thing about that song I love is that you hear a riff in the guitar play in the left channel and then the right channel, and then in both channels you hear the bass playing it.
Yeah.
Every single time. Like, I was looking forward to that every single time I heard that
and
song.
It's chunky bass too.
Oh,
just chunky.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I also loved the solo in Discrepancy. I think it's the only solo on the album, if I recall correctly.
There's other solos, but there's, like I said, the lead riff almost sounds like a solo a lot of the time. It's just playing through the song. But you're right. In Discrepancy, there's actually like an actual legit solo.
Like a solo section.
And it's pretty damn good.
It was a very, very nice solo. They do a lot of really cool rhythmic ideas here. Near the end of the Silver Chord, which is the first track, from me looking into it, it kind of seems like they're doing a bit that starts in 7/8 and then 2 bars of 5/8, and then what it sounds like is they're playing that, but then they lay down 3 bars of 6/4 and then a bar of 5/4 on top of that. And I thought that was really cool. I could be wrong, but that's kind of what it seemed like from just me kind of listening to it a bunch and counting. But I thought that was really cool. They do a lot of really cool metric tricks where they play kind of a meter on top of another one, like 4/6, what have you. So they do play around with that a lot and they make it work. They kind of have a groove and then they kind of switch it from like duple meter to triple meter or, you know, back and forth. And I love that. Yeah, and I feel like they did it very fruitfully because one of the boundaries of prog metal I find for a lot of listeners is that, you know, it sounds a little too disjunct when you start to get to really complicated rhythmic ideas.
Yeah, this doesn't do that.
This band does it really well, making it very fruitful, but making it very accessible for people like yourself who are not really into the genre very much.
Yeah. Yeah, at the beginning when I said not really into the genre, I was talking more along the lines of the vocal style, not really the musical arrangement, but you do make a good point still. But yeah, this EP I felt had a lot of creativity in it. There's a lot of ideas floating around, and they're implemented very well. So some highlights for me, there's things that aren't really even music related, but Discrepancy, track number 3. It doesn't even lead or bleed or fade into track number 4, Daughter of Ash, but it almost still feels like it's one continuous song to me. As they're playing, as Discrepancy ends, and then Daughter of Ash starts, it almost feels to me like Daughter of Ash is like a giant mouth just eating Discrepancy. And I don't know why that makes sense in my head or what, but it just felt like the song continues, even though they sound so different. And that's bizarre to me, but it kept working. But Daughter of Ash starts, and it's just mean sound. Tremolo picking, double bass, the lower growl vocal, and you know, it's probably the most metalcore song. Maybe that's why it's kind of speaking to me a little more. It's different, and you know, they know it's different. They know it's their heaviest song, and they put it on there, I think, to please guys like me. But that's not to say that the rest of the album wasn't, or the rest of the EP wasn't also catchy, because the riffs are great, the vocal range is great. The last song, which is called Thus Far, the same name as the band, is kind of a long song. It's like almost 7.5 minutes, a little lengthy, but it's, you know, it's up there. In the middle of the song, there's this section, maybe you can call it the bridge, but the section, the Be On Your Way Now section, you know the one I'm talking about?
So, yeah.
So catchy. Gets in my head, stays in my head, in a good way. Yeah, I don't know. I think they did a really good job with the EP. I don't know.
Yeah, well, with that being said, let's rate it. So I thought this EP was just great. I really enjoyed listening to it. I'd like to listen to it some more. Just awesome EP, so I'm going to give it an 8.5. I wish I could give it a toe tag, but it's an EP, so I can't.
Fair enough. I'm in the same ballpark. I'm going to give it an 8. I think that if Thus Far puts out an LP, I think we'll be looking forward to that and checking that out. But this is a solid effort, man, from a young, fresh band. I don't know if they have any previous work than this, or if this is their first musical, you know, project. But either way, man, I really enjoyed it, and that's a little surprising to me, because like I said, at the beginning of the week, I thought I was gonna be like, oh God, but it grew on me very fast, and I enjoyed every minute of it after that.
And there you have it, what could have been 2 toe tags for Thus Far, but it's an EP, and that's all right. Anyway, guys, that's all we got for you today. Remember to like the video if you liked it. Check out Thus Far, check out Cult of Luna. Thank you for watching, and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. I'm TV Fish.
And I'm Vile Self.
And we'll see you guys later.